Yeah, I think Conor McGregor is going to be dangerous everywhere. You know what I mean? I mean, I don't know if you guys see that freaking stupid ass stat, but Conor has like 5 takedowns and 4 of them is me. So it's not only his left hand, he might in his back pocket think, I can wrestle this guy maybe, you know? Yeah. And then everybody keep talking about his leg, but I think Conor kicks, you know what I mean? So at the end of the day, there's a lot more than just his left hand, you know? And if Conor's thinking only his left hand, then he's already behind in the fight. So I think so. We're going to see a very dangerous mixed martial
25-minute fight. 155 versus 170. But the thing about Conor at 170, he's going to thump. He's going to thump. His punches are going to be heavy and hard. So Max is going to have to be very, very alert early on. That first 10 minutes of that fight, Max cannot sit there and exchange with him. Conor's going to be stalking him down, maybe trying to stomp his leg a bit, ripping 3-2s, throwing heavy bouts. So this video here was posted about 5 months ago on the Mac Life page. Him getting ready and looking thick. Thick Conor's a scary Conor, and he's a springy dude. Springy dude. Orthodox there. Ripping bodies, ripping juicers of the guts. We love those. Springing into a left knee. And he's looking like, I mean, vintage Conor, the nasty left hand. Nasty left hand. I guarantee you Max Holloway is not going to be sitting against the fence.
I've never ever made a secret of it. I'm a massive Conor fan, but I'm also a massive Max fan. You know, Conor started coming up when I was just starting out my pro career. His UFC run started. So he was a guy that I genuinely looked up to as I progressed in the sport. Imagine this. Imagine Conor beating Max Holloway and getting that title shot.
I think if there's one guy who can rip up the script, it's Conor McGregor.
As he's done so many times. Yeah. I'm going with the Mac. I'm never going against it. I'm never going against Conor. Yeah, okay. No matter against, like Max Holloway, massive fan, love him. He's a great fighter, and you know he's a deserving of everything that he's gotten and all the praise. But I can't go against Conor.
Where do you think Conor could win the fight?
You know, Conor has that scary timing. He has that scary timing. Everybody that's fought him says that. Yeah. That timing, and he has that sneaky power. Everybody that fights him says when he hits you, you feel it. Yeah. You know, it just takes one. It just takes one. Ilya knocked out Max. You know, it can be done. Yeah.
I agree that there is a chance Holloway is going to take this fight.
Yeah. Who? If I put you on the spot, who would you pick, and how?
Max. Yeah. Max. I think so. Yeah.
You think he stops him, or could you see this going all 5? Or
I think he's going to stop him.
Yeah.
I think. So.
Yeah, and then it opens up all sorts of interesting opportunities. Like both of them are talking about Gaethje at 55. You know, Islam at welterweight. So who knows? Like there could be a lot of fun stuff. But I think the big thing is, you know, Conor has 1 fight left on the UFC contract after this, and I think he really wants to fight for BKFC at some point. Which
nice. I would like to see Conor in BKFC. I think that's his world. I think he'd shine there. Short rounds. You got, you know, heavy punches. The tricky part with BKFC is, which I think will be fine for him, is just such a tight circle. You know, it's going to be tough for a lot of footwork. But yeah, I think if he's in there and he's landing some of those big Conor punches, that's going to be fun to see. So
yeah, we'll see if he does it or if the UFC breaks the bank to keep him around, depending on the success of this event.
Yeah, I think it ultimately depends on this fight, right?
So Conor McGregor's been out there living his best life. Fair play. Going around the world on his Lamborghini yacht and spending shitloads of dough, right? Fair play to him. But there's one thing he knows how to do, and that's fight. And he knows how to knock people out in the very first round as well. And that first round against Max Holloway is going to be very, very interesting. Max is going to have to be careful. He's not the type of guy to dance around and stay away and just just jab and jog. No, he's going to stand his ground and fight like a man. And that's what's going to make it so dangerous. Because yes, of course, if he gets out of the first round and he goes to the second and the third round, Conor McGregor was never a cardio machine. He was always a guy that tended to fade in the prime of his career. And if he struggled going into the later rounds in the prime of his career when he was coming up, he's certainly going to struggle now when the man's pushing 40 and he hasn't fought in 5 years. Has he trained hard for this fight? Of course he has, 100%. Has he pushed himself harder than what he was doing in 2013, 14, 15? I don't know. I don't know if that's even possible when you have accumulated all the wealth, when you've knocked it out of the park, when you've conquered the game already. Do you still have to train quite as hard, right? Because if he has done, then maybe. But even when he was, because he had to have been back in the day, he still got tired the longer the fight.
As the impending match starts to right itself, the clock is running out and the buzzing is growing louder and louder. Experts, commentators, and former fighters are all making predictions about who will win this battle when the cage doors close. Will Max Holloway's relentless speed and volume be surpassed by Conor McGregor's strength and attention-grabbing luster? Experts, fighters, and the incoming season discuss who really has the advantage. The fight is a nightmare for McGregor from a stylistic standpoint, since Michael Bisping views it as a high-stakes spectacle. Holloway's boxing-based accumulation, which breaks opponents over 5 rounds, is what makes him so deadly. Although Holloway's methodical breakdown strategy and the clock are favored by the more clever plot, McGregor can still light up the fans with a lightning knockout.
5 years away from the sport or not, he's still the biggest draw and the traction in all of mixed martial arts. And I don't think there'll ever be another one. But anyway, he's coming back against Max Holloway, right? It's been 5 years. He's almost 38 years old. Is he out of his mind? Do we think that he can do this? Because when you look at the stylistic matchup, right, it's going to be dangerous for Conor McGregor. Max Holloway, he calls himself the best boxer in the UFC. Max Holloway doesn't have that one-punch knockout power, but he wears people down. And that's why it's Max Holloway that in the final 10 seconds, that's why he points at the ground. Not at the start of the fight, not in the first 10 seconds like Ilia Topuria wanted to do. He doesn't do that because he's not a knockout artist. But when he's landing hundreds, if not thousands of punches in a fight, and he's wearing you down over 5 rounds, in those last 10 seconds, when you're beaten to a bag of shit, he's very confident that he can knock you out. Like against Justin Gaethje, it was that spinning back kick right to the face at the end of round 1. That really started the decline for Justin Gaethje, but then he just picked him apart, used his length, used his footwork, used his reach, beautiful combinations, of course, threw that spinning back kick a bunch of times as well, and then in the final 10 seconds, got the knockout, one of the craziest knockouts that the sport has ever seen of.
Additionally, Brendan Schaub continues where Bisping left off and sharpens the fight's focus. McGregor frequently lets others handle the long haul, erupts, and makes a statement. Early on, it offers him a definite advantage. Schaub acknowledges everyone's caution, though. If McGregor's ring rush shows, the window for his victory narrows, but against a volume fighter like Holloway, those early advantages signify more than they would versus a pure knockout artist. Whether McGregor's dash becomes a decisive burst or merely the prelude to Max's late rally could determine the outcome of the bout.
Conor's just, he's not a marathon runner. He's a sprinter. By all metrics, he is a sprinter. So, you have a decision guy versus a sprinter. And again, one of the advantages for Conor is, let's say that ring rust is real for him, which it will be to feel it out. But let's say it's real and he zigged when he should have zagged. You're probably not going to get knocked out by Max Holloway in the first 1 or 2 rounds. You're still okay. Now, if you're fighting an Ilia Topuria, you're fighting some of these other heavy punchers, that's a different story. So again, all this is advantages for Conor. Now, all this being said, we have no clue what version of Conor we're going to get.
In his conversation with Brian Callen, Schaub switches the focus to weight and frame. McGregor can add significant muscle without compromising power, since he is a naturally larger man. The drop to 170 and the tempo of the bout could impair Holloway's timing and speed even if he walks around close to 172, 175, and 5. The scale itself might favor McGregor in the early story. Weights are a silent, but important part in Brendan's decision.
They're fighting at 70, right?
70, which I think is a huge advantage for Conor.
You think it's a huge advantage for Conor?
Yes.
Really? Just because he's bigger, stronger?
He's had how long off, and he got himself out of the testing protocol to put on the weight the right way. Conor's a big cat. Max Holloway probably walks around at 172. Max.
Is that true? I thought he was heavier than that.
172,
Tall,
173? 172, maybe 174?
Really?
Like he'll have to cut maybe 3 pounds?
Really?
170 is not ideal for Max. It's
not,
ideal for Conor.
Why is it not ideal for him though?
Because there's this misconception, like, and Rogan spreads this too, and you guys haven't fought. So when they go, well, it'd be better if he fought if it's Max, if he fought at his true weight 170, that doesn't, just because he walks around at 170 doesn't mean that's his ideal weight.
Yeah.
His ideal, it's like,
Because he may not be in shape, right?
or his timing, or he's not as fast, or there's a number of things.
He gets up to 190, they say. But, he's vague. His frame is not a 190 frame, though.
I promise you he's not one.
Yeah.
What is this, Google? Chat?
This chat GPT.
Yeah, no.
He's not. His frame is not. So he probably is at 175. He's not.
So here
never
you go.
see him-
So since moving permanently to lightweight, today he likely enters camp somewhere 171.
Conor, Max, early thoughts on the matchup, Jorge?
I think it's gonna be a good fight with Max. Like I've been saying, I'm riding with Max. I'm betting the house on Max. I think Max is gonna make it non-competitive. At some point, after like a minute or two in the fight, Max is just gonna take over.
Yeah.
All the experience that he's put together in these 5 years, staying in shape is the number one thing, as we all know as fighters. If you got a Ferrari versus a Honda Civic, but the Ferrari has a quarter tank of gas, it's gonna lose every time. So I think Max just gets it.
Jorge Masvidal, on the other hand, has an unconventional beat. He is completely supporting Holloway, giving him the upper hand early on and gradually making the battle one-sided. Any early flash from his opponent will be outclassed by Holloway's conditioning and fighting intelligence. McGregor's pop matters, but it won't be enough to derail Max's plan once the tide turns, Masvidal said. And the true drama will reside there. Chris Weidman intensifies the story. He thinks McGregor's matchup appears poor on paper. Weidman believes McGregor's dangers outweigh his chances of winning because of a 5-year layoff, a significant injury, and the clock running out against a natural machine like Holloway. A sprinter like him will have a difficult time surviving the latter rounds, which is precisely what Holloway will be aiming for. Chad Mendes, on the other hand, provides a calm refutation. A boxer is hampered by ring rust and the aging curve, but these disadvantages are not insurmountable. According to Mendes, the factors that add a fighter to the mix are talents, thorough preparation, and mental toughness. Mendes is cautiously optimistic that McGregor can prevail if he has rebuilt himself with hard work. Using a different strategy, Big John McCarthy observes a growth and halt trend. McGregor has been rehabilitating and reinventing while waiting on the sidelines, whereas Holloway has been continuously battling and changing. McCarthy sees Holloway's steady ascension compounding into a stylistic edge over time. But McCarthy also goes back to the matchup's tactical aspects. He sees McGregor's advantages mounting in the opening moments, much like many others. However, the edge shifts more and more in Holloway's direction as the battle continues. For Holloway, McCarthy's counsel is akin to a strategy. Turn the middle rounds into a grind where volume and conditioning determine the outcome of the evening after surviving the early assault. A McGregor knockout, in Sugashan's opinion, would be a mic drop moment and unquestionable evidence that the comeback was a complete return to form rather than a flash. A methodical 5-round victory would carry a lot of narrative weight, he adds, setting up music, fascinating rematches, and legacy questions. Sean claims that any outcome, a quick knockout or a methodical strategy that steals the scorecards, would alter the dialogue. Going further, Eric Jackson pivots to the promotional theater being the matchup. McGregor is unlikely to lead the division following his victory, but the powerful people need the immediate fireworks, large payouts, and headlines. Jackson also brings up the harsh reality of McGregor's window. This may be one of his final 1 or 2 UFC bouts, so the stakes are both commercial and sporting when you consider who the corporation wants to see win. Regardless of how the experts interpret it, this conflict seems to be at a turning point. McGregor's violent sprints in contrast to Holloway's lengthy marathon. As Holloway's engine takes control tonight, we'll see if the comeback flair becomes a knockout headline or a fading echo. Max Holloway or Conor McGregor will prevail at UFC 329. Remember to subscribe and share your prediction in the comments.